I know I've been trying to teach on Revelation and stuff like that, but in order to understand the end, you have to know some of what has gone before. And today the Father laid upon my heart to just tear apart what the Antichrist is all about. First of all, the word anti in Greek is where it comes from. It's not that in Hebrew. Okay? It means to oppose or to stand in place of. All right? But that's not the word in Hebrew. Now here's where you have to decide in yourself whether the New Testament, or what I like to call the renewed covenant, was written in Greek or Hebrew. And I am adamantly convicted that it was written in Hebrew to be consistent with the rest of the covenant that has been written. But they wanted to make a new thing, and that should be terrifying. All right? It is to me. Anyway, 1 John 2:18, and the word Antichrist only appears in the renewed covenant. It does not appear in the Old Testament. Okay? Yellow day, my begottens. It's not exactly children. All right? These are the ones that are begotten of the Spirit. Behold, of the whom to gaze about and consider a moment. Strong's Hebrew number 8159 and 8160. When you take the fullest understanding of both of these words, it is not a set time period as a moment or an hour. Some of the meanings are to gaze at or about, properly for help. By implication, to inspect, consider, compassionate, be nonplussed, as looking around in amazement, or bewildered. Okay, the second understanding from the Hebrew, Aramaic, which is added later, is properly a look, i.e. a moment, then added even later than that, an hour. Okay, so the fullness of the understanding of the word shaya is to take a moment to look about and consider. Okay, and what's being considered are the words, the Spirit, what is trying to be imparted to you. Okay, when you constantly have the words going on in your head, what does this mean? What does that mean? Not everybody goes that far, but some of us do. All right, when there is a doggish in the sheen like this, it is shorthand for the prefix meaning whom. All right, this is the one to take a moment to look about and consider, and oftentimes be bewildered, and then when the answer comes, it's totally nonplussed. All right. The last. Now they use a full cholam here, so I am taking that to mean in the flesh. All right. The whom. The last. This is the feminine form of the word, and implication is mortal. This word is not to come, it is entrance. Strong's Hebrew number 872. Okay. And on account of that which grieved, I am freeing. Whom the womb completing you did hear. Whom's my presence of, they will be spirit to enter. This is the spirits entering the individual as gifts, okay, to them and to her. This is a form of the word Satan. Now, you have to understand that a final noon in a word is a feminine collective. The root word set means to sin, to miss, to lack, to forfeit, okay? To be separated from the Father, all right? They don't have a vowel point under the sin, which is the instead of sh, okay? And it means a thorn woven. The word tav, nun, aleph usually, in Hebrew, it is a basket woven by basically the chaff. Okay? And this is what takes place in the spiritual realm when we fail to ascend in our understanding. We're woven into a basket. In the last front and back door lesson, I showed Draco and Ursa Minor. Okay? These are the basket collectives. Those who fall short are put in the Ursa Minor basket. Okay? She becomes a collective for the ashes of those who have sinned. Now, it's important to know these things. Okay? And they were accused of the collective of the Mashiach, the days of Yehovah. As they ascended throughout the ages, they were accused of sin by the Mashiach. Rightly so. Now, greatly increased them. This is a combination of the masculine and the feminine forms of the words. All right? So put together, to accuse by letter of, to weaves of, by letter is the letters that make up the word of Yehovah. Okay? From the words themselves, the Torah, the prophets, the writings of inspired men, they were accused by. They of the anointed one. Now, those who were accused are now making up the next incursion of Messiah. And within, when there's no doggish in the bet, it means it relates to internally. And the irregular plural of ze, known as zoth, means these as one. Disdained spirit entity. This is the word disdained spirit off. Okay? So, now the Messiah is made up the one who they rejected. Mankind rejected because they've been taught better now. We were taught to make known. Whom's, this is the prefix for whom, and it is pluralized, and they are echad in that pluralization, whom's she is. Of the whom to gaze about and consider a moment the last. This means this is the last opportunity before the kingdom of heaven comes to earth that you will be sent a Messiah. Because after this, it's the Father returning.